Hello! So we are gonna draw some shadows. This is not gonna be a very professional video, but I hope you will understand something at the end of how this shadow thing works. And it will look something like this at the end, but the coloring will be in part 2 of this video. Now I want to show you what outline I will be using. So here are the coloring pages I made. There are 9 buildings for you to color in this bundle, and I will put the link to them in the description, so if you want to support me and be an awesome rockstar, you need to get them. And if you already have them, then thank you very much. So first I am creating my Canva. It will be 4000 by 4000 pixels, but choose whatever size you want. Then I already imported the paper texture. You probably already have some in your arsenal, and how I prepare it is duplicate the paper layer, make one as color burn and the other one as linear burn, and turn the opacity down. I have imported 2 versions of the lobster landing building, so one is with the ink frame outline and the other one has these little corners that is like guide for the background but without the ink, and today I will work with this one. Now here are the 2 colors I will be using in this part. Screenshot or use the text under them or use any other color you like. Okay, so we are prepared for work now. First, create a layer underneath the outline layer and with selection tool, choose rectangle. We need to cover the area between those gray corners. So select it and then drop in the light yellow color. And then you can fix it in place if needed, and of course erase the corners. We won't need them anymore. And basically this layer is for the next coloring part, so if you just want the shadows, you don't need to do this. Now we will be making the sunlight layer. So make a new layer on top of this layer, and I am gonna use basic hard round brush and the light yellow color, and I will outline the building, the plants, like all the details that are not the background, like the grass and sky, and then color drop the color. Just make sure your line is connected everywhere. And why I choose the light yellow color? Because the sun is like warm, so we are choosing this. You can of course change the color later or use any other color you want, so maybe if it's sunset time then it will be more red light from the sun, but yeah, now we are using this. And it should look something like this at the end. Now I'm gonna show you just like the most basic shadow theory, if you can call it that. So if your light source is on the left side, then all the objects will be casting a shadow to the right side. And also, like, the sun is up in the sky, so all the objects will be casting a shadow under them, like the signs and windowsills. And at the moment I am just showing super roughly how the shadows would look. We will later be making them neat and pretty. So yeah, this is just so you get the basics. Okay, I don't know if you are ready to hear this, but if the sun is on the right side, then all the objects will be casting a shadow to the left. I know, it's mind-blowing, but that's how it is. So yeah, here I am also roughly showing how the shadows would look. But in this video, we are gonna make the shadows. No, the sun will be on the left side, so yeah, we are gonna make the shadows in the way that the sun is shining from the top left. make a new layer for the shadows. And again, I am using the hard round brush, but the bluish color. And firstly, let's do the easy shadows. So all the things that would be closer to us will be casting shadow. Like the little part of the roof is casting shadow, so I draw a line under it. And all the roundish objects will have a shadow on the right side. Now this little sign is gonna make a shadow. I don't know the precise version, so I just mimic a tiny corner of it onto the wall because I think it looks great there. And now you see the roof frame also will be making a shadow, so I draw a line under it. Okay, so this lamp is also making a shadow to the right side. And it isn't precise like where it should be, but I think it's close enough and it looks good. So draw a shadow there on the right side. Now this vertical house frame line will also be making a shadow to the right side. So I draw a line there. All the windows I will be coloring almost fully. Well, in this part I want the curtains to not be in the shadow, so those are staying light, but all the windows will be in this bluish color. I will show you here how you can change the drawing with the shadows. So now I am making the shadows as the window frame is closer to us than the wall. So like frame sits on top of the wall. But if you want the window frame to be pushed in the wall, then the shadows will be different. The wall will be casting a shadow to the window frame. But this time I am gonna make that the window frame is on top of the wall and it is casting a shadow on the wall. So to the right side. And you can see that this little sign is also casting a shadow to the right and under it. And I want the sign to look more 3D, so the sign's frame will be casting a shadow to the sign. Now the door. The door frame sits on top of the wall, but the doors are more pushed in. At least that's how I am drawing shadows for it. But you can make it all pushed in and then the wall will be casting a shadow to the door frame. You just gotta decide what is more forward and what is more to the inside and go from there. Oh, I just thought of this. The closer thing is casting a shadow to the further thing. Now here, use this for everything. We have crafted the shadows. I'm joking. So these door embellishments are making shadows very similar like that little lobster sign. And it is making them look 3D. So they are making shadows to the inside and to the outside, but both are on the right side. Now here I also colored in the window and now I am just erasing the parts from, I don't know what's it called, but yeah, you saw it. I erased the shadows from there. And this little lantern also I am making it darker on the right side and that it casts the shadow on the right side. For the letters, I am using the same thing. I want them to look more 3D, so like they are standing on top of the sign, so they are casting a shadow to the right. Now this lobster, I don't think I made it look super right with the shadow, but I made the down part of him darker, also him casting shadow to the wall, and his upper legs are also casting a shadow but like under them. Now this window, I will make shadows for it super similar as the window we did before. So it's casting shadow under and to the right. Also, I will color in the whole window and then erase those lines. For the fence, I am making all the behind planks to be in the shadow, and I am drawing a shadow on the right side of the planks that are forward, just because I want to. I don't think in real life there would be a shadow, so do with this information what you want. I am adding shadow to this circle thing in this box and also drawing shadow on the roundish pipe. And also drawing shadow on the wall that the pipe is casting. And now I am drawing a shadow on this little plank thing on the ground and also the shadow that this thing is casting on the ground. And for this plant box, the plant is like overgrown the box, so it will be casting shadow onto the box. And also add some little scribbles in the plant. And let's add some little shadows on the chimney. Now you will see me drawing the sun rays, how they would shine, and then adding shadow from that pole onto the wall. You can see I am drawing shadow a bit lower than the pole, and the same thing I will do with the fishing net and that other fishing thing. Basically, you would want the shadows to be the same for all those things, but as you will see, mine don't have the same sun rays shining on them, but that's okay. So if you want, you can draw one line as a guide for your sun rays and then move it around to all the objects, and you will get perfect shadows, or just wing it, as I am doing here. I am drawing shadow for this box a bit to the right and under it. So if you are using the sunray guideline, then you put it on the top right corner and it will guide you like how low the shadow would be. And now just add one big shadow that the chimney would be making onto the wall. And for this big sign, I am also not using any guidelines. I am just winging it. So, like there will be a shadow under it. It will look a bit different on the wall and on the chimney, because like chimney is a bit closer to us. I think I drew the shadow wrong here. I think the chimney shadow would be lower than the on-wall shadow. But yeah, we are just struggling through this together. And then I just make a shadow onto the right from the sign. Basically, if you like it and if it looks good, then it's a good shadow. Now all the things on the ground will be casting shadow first on the grass, on the ground, and then if it's closer to the wall, then also on the wall. So now you can use two guidelines if you want. So first you already have the sunray guideline and the second would be the shadow guideline. You can see I am trying to get the line on the ground similar for both of the things. That would be your shadow guideline. And then all the objects would be making a shadow from there. But later you will see how it is not going how I want. And of course, you also need to add some shadows from the plants on the plant box and also on the wall. Here I am also just going with the flow and trying to make a shadow to the right side of the object. If it looks right, or if it looks like how you want, then go with it. Now you will see me using the shadow guideline. So first I drew a line from the plant box and then I decided, okay, let's check the shadow guideline. So you see it's a bit more like bigger angle. So yeah, I am drawing with like that in mind. And then also add some scribbles that the plant would be making on the ground, and it took me a while to get it how I want it to look. And a few shadows from the planks on the ground, and also the plank that is on top of the other plank is making a little shadow. And here I am adding a little shadow from the house and from the fence. Now let's take our shadow guideline and move it to the next box, and it won't cast a shadow to the ground. So don't panic, I am just making a small angle that it would cast a shadow there. I don't know if it's mathematically right, but I think there should be a shadow. So I am drawing shadow on the plant box, to the ground and also wall. And at the end, I will draw some little plant shadows that is totally wrong, but it will give the illusion that those are the plants in the box. Basically, all the shadows are there. I am just adding one more shadow layer, but that will be just for the windows. Like the shadow that is casted on the glass from the window frames. So, if the sun is in the left top corner, then shadow will be on the right side and under the window frames. Also, you can see those vertical lines are on the top of the horizontal lines. So they are casting a shadow on the horizontal line because they are on top. What I'm gonna do now is selecting the shadow layer and clearing it from the light layer. So click select on the shadow layer and click on the light layer and choose clear. Very quick erasing, and the same for the background. I will erase all the layers from the background layer. And then I will show you how it would look with the colored house. If you will be watching the second part with all the coloring, then just go now. I have a link to that video in the description, so you don't need to watch the same thing 2 times. But if you want to see how I end up with the shadows, then stay for a few more minutes. Also, I forgot this shadow that this plant box is making on the wall. So yeah, now to the next thing. First, I will make all the shadow and light layers as multiply. So the yellow layer will make everything look sunlit, and the shadow will look like shadow. So play around with the opacity to get the look you want. Also, here you can see I am making a new layer on top of the shadow layer as clipping mask. I want to play around with different colors for the shadow. Once I like the look, I will merge them together. And for the shadow layers, I will add a bit of noise, also for the background, but this is just my preference. And play around with opacity, also for the shadow layers. Another way to change colors is under hue, brightness, and something setting, so you can play around with hue slider to get the look you want. And well, that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you understand now a bit more about the light and shadows. And yeah, again, if you want to support me, you can like this video, subscribe, leave me a comment, or buy my coloring pages. Thanks again for being here. Bye!